Let me push record and get us going. Happy Money Monday, everybody. You're showing up. Yes, you're showing up for your prosperity here today live with us or on the recording. Either way, thank you so much for showing up for your own prosperity. It does the opposite of what we sometimes think of with money being a competitive thing, right? That's the norm out there of like, if I have more, you must have less, or if I have less, and that means that, like, no, we're not playing that game. In this game, it is my ultimate wish that we funnel the resources, the prosperity, the abundance, all of that to everyone in this game and everyone that we know, because we know that we're all connected to everyone. And that's who I want to have the prosperity in their hands. People that know we're all in this together, we are one, and when we win, you know, rising tides raise all ships, right? That's who I want to send prosperity to and share prosperity with. And so that's you and the people that you know. So keep playing big for prosperity, for sure. All right, we've got a couple people joining the call. Let's start with our stretch for the day. Today, I want to stretch our shoulders out, do some shoulder rolls. Oh, yes. Feel that beautiful stretch and just the pleasure of this stretch. There's all kinds of pleasure, like, within a stretch. The pleasure of the stretch itself, the pleasure of coming out of the stretching. Make sure to roll your shoulders both directions. Give it one at a time. And just notice what is most pleasurable about this for you. Where is the most good feeling? I'm just going to add some arm circles. Still moving my shoulders though. See if you can still move it with your shoulders. For me, I can feel like a lot of extra pleasure in the small little muscles. It's those tiny little muscles that I don't always use. And just right now, they're like lighting up, like, hi, here I am. You can feel me now while you're stretching. And actually, that reminds me of the 1 degree shifts that we're going for here in this game sometimes, right? If you were to have an ocean liner pointed towards Europe and set it on its course, but then right at the beginning, give it a 1 degree shift, just change its course 1 degree, it actually would not end up on the same continent. It could end up on a totally different continent, probably Africa, just by that 1 degree shift. And that's what we're doing every week. Just make a little shift, one extra action that you wouldn't have made, one extra anchoring yourself in, no, I choose prosperity. I don't choose to do my old pattern anymore. I'm 1 degree shifting myself this week, or today, or this hour. You can do the 1 degree shift as frequently as you want, as frequently as you can, and you're not required to do it at all. But you're also able to do a 1 degree shift very frequently. Whereas I don't know about you, but I can't do a 100 degree shift very frequently at all. Almost never. Like, I might get one, like, you know, rock bottom moment in a lifetime and be like, yes, I'm changing 180 degrees from this, right? But I can't do the huge shifts very often, but I can do 1 degree a few times a day. And that adds up a lot. So breathing in, small shifts. I think I brought this phrase up on the game before. Do a little, a lot. And I love that. I heard that at Nature Church recently. We're here to do a little, a lot. All righty. Speaking of like 1 degree shifts, we are still continuing on our, I think, broader game of curiosity. This is our 3rd week where it's a question. There's more curiosity to be had. But the name of the game this week is something that I learned that like high achievers ask this question more than they ask the other questions of this kind. Okay, so we know that we are relaxing around asking, how's it going to happen? When's it going to be here? What's it going to look like? We know to relax around those. And as we let go of those, the question that high performers ask is who? Don't ask what, don't ask how, ask who. Who do I need to talk to? I love this question so much. It really brings me back into one of my like favorite things to remember, which is people. The people in your life make all the difference. Doesn't really matter where you're going. It matters who you're going with. You guys heard that? The people in your life are going to make the difference in the moment along the journey. Sometimes when I think about the whole destination versus journey thing and how it's not about the destination, that makes sense to me in the way, even though I like thinking about the destination, but it makes sense to me because the journey is like this much of the time, whereas the destination is just that one little moment that you're there, right? And then you're on to the next thing. But if you really want to improve the quality of your life, it's why don't we improve the 99% of the time, which is the journey there. And now we have evidence that relationships, people, are what improve the quality of our life the most. So that is even more reason to ask who. Who should I be talking to about this? So this week, before thinking about strategies, before thinking about timelines or thinking about what you're going to do, your invitation is to think who. Ask who. Who can make this easier for me? Who can help? Who can I talk to? And sometimes it's literally just talking to them. You know, they may not like be the person you hire or the person that saves the day, solves the problem. It may just be someone I know will sit there and listen to me talk this out, talk this through. To me, that's like valuable gold when I find somebody who can just hear me and help me sort through it and maybe ask me like a great question or two to get more information out of me. So this is about asking who and feeling the support that we have around us. So let's do a little activity here that will bring this home. It's another grab one of those items on your desk activity. You can pretty much grab any item. I think today I'd like you to direct you to grab an item that you love. Something that you like, yay, you love it. It's somewhere near you. You keep it near you because you love it. I'm going to grab my fried egg on a pillow. Yes, beautiful. Got a seashell. Amazing. Ooh la la. Oh, pretty rocks and figures. Ooh la la. Very nice. Cool. Okay. Let's see if we can hold on to this pillow or this item by the pillow, and ask who did it take to bring this exactly where it is today? How many people, who all did it take? See if you can feel their contributions to you holding this item in your hand. It took maybe a person with an idea. It took a designer, perhaps. It took somebody on the floor of a factory somewhere. It took somebody making some of the materials involved. It took somebody packing it up in a package or a box. It took an accountant somewhere to price it, perhaps. It took a trucker driving it wherever he found it. It took somebody unloading and loading that truck. Like, how many hands contributed to you now getting to have your hands on this item, this one item? See if you can come up with a number for your item, a number of people. Anybody think they have a guesstimate? Leandra?
I don't even have a guesstimate, but I realized that an ex-boyfriend gave me this from Italy. And he was a Navy pilot. So I was thinking about that. And I'm like, he very well might have flown the plane to bring it here. But I was also thinking about all the guys that we were friends with too, who might have been with him when he was shopping for it, who might have been the navigators on the plane, who might have been the mechanics on the airplane to get the airplane here. I'm like, I don't know where he got it in the shop. Like, did the artist own the shop? Was it in a different shop? But even just the airplane to get it here, I was like, that's at least like 30 people.
Yeah. 30 right there just in the transport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Plus the shop, plus the, like, who taught the artist how to make that? You know,
Right.
I don't know. How many influences did that artist gather and decide, and who made the paint? And yeah.
And the clay, like, where does the clay come from? Who digs the clay and who makes the kiln and who makes the paint? Yeah.
Yeah. Who has the shop online that the artist buys the clay from and, you know, makes this happen? Yeah. I mean, so we're at like 50, 60 minimum. I mean, I can't really get to less than 50 for my pillow. Yeah. Eliana?
Well, it's interesting because when you first start asking, I thought, oh, maybe 3, 4 people. But then when you start talking about who transported and who, because this shell came to me because my therapist in Florida found it in San Francisco when he went walking the beach. And then he knew he needed to give it to me because of a previous story, right? Huh. And then he brought it to me from San Francisco to Florida. And then again, the pilot, the carrier people, the luggage handler, and all of that. But then I also put the whole ocean.
Right. Yeah, we didn't even count creatures. I didn't even
Exactly.
think of that. Yeah, right. We were focused on
The whole
people.
ocean, because basically he found this on this private beach from the hotel, and when he saw it, said, I know who this has to go to, because I had just given him an abalone shell that was smaller than this, but had a story behind it, right? And then when he found this one, he gave me back an abalone shell that was even more beautiful than the one I gave him.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that's amazing. You still feel the contribution to that item, even though it's not like a manufactured item, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we feel the contribution of the sea creatures, the ocean itself, and all those people that are transporting it, that are.
And the story behind the abalone shell for me, you know, there's a huge, it's a speech, let me put this way, because it's a huge story behind what the abalone shell means to me. Because actually, abalone shell to me means abundance.
Mm,
And
fabulous. And
so
that
it's,
large one feels like abundance. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a large shell like that intact
yeah,
that really feels abundant. Like, you could use that
yeah.
as a fruit bowl or like a serving dish on a table, you know?
I
Yeah.
know. I know.
Yeah. And who these items might keep on going to, you know, where might your item end up? And what richness is it gaining? What love have you put into this item that then is going to the next person too? So just feeling the people involved. And that's kind of what we're going to do this week, except we don't know, we may not have the end thing right now. We may be still creating the end product in our lives right now. And it's our job to sort of pull those people together, pull in influences from here. Oh, yeah, let me call this person. And I don't know what they're going to say to me, but they're going to remind me of something that's going to influence what I'm creating, for my life, what I'm creating as like output, results that I'm creating. I've been struck by the number of people involved in my life several times. And one of my best reminders, if anybody else wants to take this on, is freaking turning on a light switch. I mean, I must do that 25 times a day at minimum. Flip a damn switch and make my entire life possible. Like, electricity just gets me. I can start crying right now because it takes so many people to make it happen. And it's the size of the light switch, you know, that like contrast always gets me. The size of the switch I flip. I don't have to like turn a big lever in my home or like have a whole room dedicated to electricity production or anything. It's like such a tiny, tiny little part of every room that I can completely take for granted. These people are so good at their jobs that I can 100% forget the entire day and have it serve me all day long. And I just feel so supported. And that's just electricity. That's not even like water that I like need to live, you know. But like, if you add both of those together, like when you pay your utility bills, you know, just like, oh my God, I am so supported by people that don't even hear from me. They will never hear a thank you from me. And they're just continuing to support me. Hundreds of people, thousands of people every day. Yeah, Leander says we carry these supercomputers in our pockets that go everywhere with us. Yeah, we don't even think about it. I just plug it in at night. I take it to go in the morning. And it's just how many thousands of people it took to bring this little supercomputer in my hand. Like, I can just look at it as a thing, or I can feel all the people connected to it. And that helps me remember to ask who. ask who. I've got a couple other things I want to say about this. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Okay. 3 reasons this can be so healing to our psyche, I think. One reason is the story we're told in America, especially, is the Lone Ranger cliche. I don't know if you guys have seen on Netflix recently, it's called Attack of the Hollywood Cliches. It's a series of like calling out movie tropes, movie like structures and characters in movies that are so prevalent, we just take them for granted. And not only do we take them for granted that we're going to see them on the screen, we really think they're real. They are baked into our culture now. And one big one is the Lone Ranger archetype of this dude, this guy who's like worked his whole life, and he's, you know, he's a good guy, but he may have had to do some bad things, and he's like about to retire, and the something calls him back, the gang calls him back for one last job. And, you know, he has to do this last job. He's forced to. It's not a like, yeah, let's go out on top, right? Somebody gets kidnapped or some financial thing is happening, and so he has to do this one last job, and he's alone in the world fighting the entire rest of the bad guys. You know, the bad guys are plentiful, but he is one Lone Ranger guy. And you can trace this Hollywood archetype back through movie after movie after movie. And basically where they think it came from is the Western John Wayne movie. That was so popular. And I say movie, even though it was hundreds of movies, but it's the same movie again and again and again. And it still is baked into all of the movies that so many of the movies that we see today. I mean, I feel like just this last 5 years, it's starting to change. Maybe you could say last 10 or 20. But it's a lot. It's a lot of movies for a long time. And to have that Lone Ranger baked into our minds, it's tough on our psyches because we are such social beings. So this week, asking who, I want us to stop thinking of ourselves as Lone Ranger and start thinking of ourselves as a web of connections. Who? Who do I know? Who can I just reach out and thank? I mean, you don't even have to ask them for something new. You can just thank somebody for something they've already done. But asking who can I connect with this week? Okay. Reason number 2. Oh, Leandra, do you have a comment?
I was just going to say, this is kind of funny from our She Speaks thing of our kind of thread was, you don't ever know how it turns out. Like, you might have that connection point and you never know what happens from there. I actually ran into the chiropractor that I worked for in 2010. So 12 years ago, I ran into him at the grocery store. And I did marketing for him, which, by the way, is hilarious now that I have my own business. And that's my hardest thing is marketing. But I was his marketing person. And so I was telling him that I had my own business and that I was running my own business. And he goes, yeah, you know what? He's like, we still use some of the spreadsheets that you made for us. And I was like, it's really funny. I don't even remember making spreadsheets for you, but I'm sure I did because you're probably doing something inefficiently. I can just whip out a spreadsheet for you. And so I think that's sort of the who, right? Like 12 years later, he's still using spreadsheets that I built for him in what I kind of considered like a throwaway job. Like, I need a job till I go get my master's degree.
Yeah.
So, you know, like something that probably was inefficient, they have something more efficient. And I think, you know, just realizing that we have that impact, but that people also have impacts on us like that as well.
Absolutely. That's 1 or maybe more like a 10% degree difference, right? And now he's like, we're still on that trajectory you set us on long ago. you know,
Yeah.
and using your literal spreadsheets. I mean, you know, I have some spreadsheets from you that I know I will be using at least that long. So yeah.
My legacy is spreadsheets.
That's one of your superpowers. I really believe it. I thought I was good at spreadsheets, but no. Yeah, totally. So you can feel that as a connection. And another phrase that I learned is that relationships don't expire. They don't. I mean, you can put more or less into them, sure, but they don't expire to where someone's like, I forgot who you are. No, they don't. They don't, right? You can reach out to people long ago that are possibly still thinking of you, thanking you for something, or remembering you at the very least, and just say, hey, haven't talked to you in a long time. What's new? What's going on? Love that example. Love that example. So another thing that's really healing to me about this practice is healing my Lone Ranger and thinking about the why I was built with weaknesses. Sometimes when I get, you know, mad at myself for not being this enough or not being smart enough on this, or you can't do this as well, it's like, well, maybe I was built to not do it all on my own and to actually need, like actually really need, not just like, hey, I could use your help with this. No, like some things I cannot do. I can't do it. And I literally, seriously, truly need other people. And it makes me feel so much better about why I have weaknesses. Now, if I'm in Lone Ranger mode, then all my weaknesses are detriments, they're liabilities. I suck, I'm in danger, I can't, I may never, fill in the blanks. If I'm in Lone Ranger mode, if I'm in web mode, all my weaknesses become assets, become, thank God I can't do this completely right on my own because that person over there can do it 10 times better than me. And now, not only do I have that thing done for me, I also have the bond and the strength of that connection, which brings me, at the very least, probably some joy, right? Some interestingness. I'm not talking to myself in my little tower all day long in my room. I'm reaching out, I'm connected, I'm a web of things. And I can feel really great, really safe about my weaknesses. I can talk about them loudly and proudly. I don't have to be in shame about them, you know, because the more I talk about them, the more I'm going to get the help. Weaknesses starting to look pretty good. Yeah. You want some weaknesses? You wish you had as many weaknesses as I do. You wish. Maybe you can aspire to have as many, you know, minus marks as I do, so you can have as many connections, right? Start like getting on my high horse about how many weaknesses I have. That's a great place to be. That's a great day when I can count my weaknesses up and be like, heck yeah, this is all the support I'm gonna get. Check me out. I'm a badass. We can't do nothing right. You guys have heard white dudes say this. Okay, CEOs are like, I don't know how to do anything. I just get the right people in the room. I love being the dumbest person in the room. I mean, less pressure much? Is that a great goal? An easy, flowy goal? Is I'm going to try to be the dumbest person in my room? Yes, I will take that spin because I've spent tons of years trying to be the smartest person. So, you know, let's try to find room from the dumbest person in. That sounds great. And I'm not saying that to like belittle our smarts. Like we bring our own smarts to the table, but maybe there's something I'm trying to pull off where I actually don't have all the skills for this. Maybe it's marketing. Right? Maybe I could be the dumbest person in my marketing room and just gather people around me. Yes, thank you, Catherine. Great to see you. Thanks for coming as much as you can. That's awesome. Don't worry, I said that for everybody else, not just for her. So yeah, so I start feeling so much better about my weaknesses, my shortcomings, and I can't wait to stop trying to improve them all the time. Let's just ask for help sometimes. Okay, my third reason this can be so healing on such deep levels is that we were often hurt through connection. Growing up, the family we didn't get to choose yet, even family and friends that we did choose. You know, often our wounds come within the context of connection. And that can create the Lone Ranger story or feeling of like, oh, I was hurt in connection. So maybe the problem is connection. So let me just do everything else on my own so I don't get hurt. I mean, that's tempting conclusion to draw, right? But if we can reach out and have a positive experience of connection, we can realize that connection's not the problem. Connection is a human need. Connection is something that I want and need. So having a positive experience of connection can heal us in connection, and that can start to counteract some of the hurt in connection that we've experienced. So you bring your, learnings and knowings about yourself and start having better experiences in connection. Start reaching out in a new way. I mean, I know I've learned so much about how to do trades in my business effectively, efficiently, where it contributes to everyone instead of leaves everyone feeling resentful. How did I learn this? Shitty ass trades and shitty connections, and not knowing how to reach out. But I'm so happy that I didn't say, no trades ever again. The trading is the problem. It really wasn't the problem. I sort of sorted through it and kind of got down to the root of where my resentments came from in there, in the bad trades that I made, chalked it up to like, yeah, maybe I won't do this right the first time or the 10th time, and then take that over to the new trades and have some better boundaries around my new trades. So a couple of the things I've learned is like, only trade at full price. Only trade when it really feels like you both need each other. Need, not it would be nice, but need each other. And I think there's one more rule I have, but anyway, I got some policies out of that, and now I trade and it works and I'm thrilled about it. So are there some things about, yeah, right, you don't have to pay taxes on trades. Are there some things about your connections that you want to do differently in the connections going forward? As you ask who, okay, when I've asked who before and I've just called the first person that came to mind, that was fine. But maybe if I ask who this time and I can ask, who is it really going to feel good to talk to? Who's going to leave me, when I leave that conversation, I'm going to feel like we made progress. I've done this a lot with clients that I want to call. I have often in my launches included some part of the process where I make a list of people that I'd love to have in the program and start calling them. I just call them and invite them. And I notice that what can really help me is calling the easiest people first. People that are just easy to talk to. They're going to know one way or the other if they want to be in. There's like lots of trust or relationship there or what have you. And they're going to be happy to hear from me. So I just get to calling those people first. And then the people who are going to be like, oh, Amanda, haven't heard from you in a while. I call those people a little later when I've already got some momentum from the people that are like, oh my God, I was just going to call you. So I've learned that as a nuance of this asking who. So thinking about that in your process of what do I already know about asking who? What I already know works for me. What do I want to learn about asking who? Teresa.
So when you said who would it feel good to talk to, it kind of took me into, okay, I have an expectation that it's going to make me feel good.
Oh,
yeah, I do like the part about the relationships not expiring and who can I reach out to today. So it feels to me like when we're thinking about the who, it's like not having that expectation in there is going to be important, and just
Yeah.
being open to the curiosity and following the intuition of who I'm going to reach out to. If
Have
someone
you been
comes
playing
to
full
mind,
out last week's game, Teresa? Girl. Yeah.
pretty
Pulling back.
much, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, that would be a lot of pressure on the phone call, right? Who can I reach out to? Like with the expectation of like, and they better make me feel better.
All right.
That would be
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's like, who can I reach out to?
Yeah.
This person feels like it might be a positive interaction.
Right.
But stepping back from the expectation of it's going to fix something for me.
Well, and I had that expectation a while back, and I think you know about it, calling my mother on the phone to tell her about how all the different things that were going on with me. And I caught her on the worst moment of the worst day. And it just was awful. So
Totally.
like, oh my God. But thankfully I was in a good place that I could handle that. But I'm thinking, when we do this, there's that potential that, we're like, oh, I'm going to reconnect and it's the web. And then you get this person and, they just had a really bad fight with their husband or their mother died or.
Yeah, they might not have space for you. They might not, right? They might not do as you expect. Yeah, totally. That is, I think, the sort of journey of getting hurt in relationship and why we pull back from the question of who. Try to do it ourselves and go Lone Ranger. And so, yeah, maybe that's exactly the reason this is coming up on the heels of the expectation is not putting that amount of pressure on it, but just opening up and relaxing. So I just heard a story this morning of a client. Leander says, on the other hand, they may have needed us to call them right at that time.
Yeah, that's true.
I just heard a story this morning of a client who she realized that one of the ways she could get her dishes done was to have somebody there talking with her while she gets her dishes done, right? We do this in my home. We call it the pleasant company form of support. Just somebody there. You don't got to do nothing. You just sit and talk and I do all the stuff and it helps. It just makes it so much easier. Well, she didn't have people like in proximity to invite over. So she took up the practice of calling somebody while she's doing her dishes. Brilliant. Great way to solve that problem. So then she said, there was one day where I never got a hold of anybody, but I just would dial somebody. I'd let it ring. Yeah, exactly. Jonelle, there's a name for this in ADHD communities, right? So I'd let it ring and then I'd leave them a long message about my life, a minute or two, and then I'd hang up and then I'd call the next person. And she said nobody actually ended up being there. She just left a series of messages for people and she got her whole dishes done.
Mm.
I mean, what a great way to not like need that person to show up for you right now in this way. They weren't available. She never talked to anybody, but she still received the support and made those calls and, you know, had little connections with 10 people, whoever, many. Love it. Yeah. So it's called body doubling in the ADHD community, really.
But also one thing that happened is that what she got was that she was the support for herself.
She
Mhm.
took the responsibility on of reaching
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
Exactly. So
she did.
that was the main thing for her, because basically she was supporting herself by taking this kind of action and now realizing that she didn't need anybody to begin with.
Mhm.
Well, I might say like I still needed that person on the other end of the voicemail. It would be different if I was like just, it's not like I could just hit record and like record myself talking and it would feel the same. I like to feel the body on the other end of the, you know,
Yeah,
that's how
well,
I'm relating to it. But yeah,
I get it. It's just that, for instance, if I don't have anybody to talk to, I usually listen to music, I listen to podcasts, and I listen to books. So
I think
it
you
is
could
about
count some.
distracting my mind from the work that I'm doing.
Right,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. Yeah, I'm listening to a book right now. I love this fiction series and I know the author very well. And so I love even more. Listen, I can't even tell how good the book is because I just feel so much connection with my friend, Lindsay Whitlock. Some of you know her. And so I just love connecting with her the whole time. And she doesn't even know I'm doing it, you know, other than I text her every day. I'm like, it's so good, you know, but it's not really her that I'm connecting to. It's like her creativity, right? In the moment. She doesn't have to be there.
What did you call that, Amanda? The body, what did your family call the body doubling? Positive
Pleasant
what?
company.
Oh, pleasant company. Okay.
Pleasant company. Yeah. And the pleasant word turns out to be pretty important in my house to make sure you can't just sit there and like tell me everything that's wrong with your life, you know, because I care about you. You're my family. So I'll try to, you know, it's pleasant company. It's talking about light things and happy things and, you know, smaller puzzles, not terrible, hard puzzles.
Well, and the other thing this makes me think about is the butterfly wing making the effect on the whole like planet, right? It's like even just one little reach out can affect so many things,
So
you know.
many.
It
Oh my
can
gosh.
change the trajectory of someone's day, that can, you know, change the trajectory of something that happened on the road or in their work. I mean, it's just, yeah.
Yes. Have I told you guys the story of I did my list of calling people for a class, right? I was having an in-person class, so I make my list of people to call, and I called the wrong Susan. And she wasn't in town, she can't take the class. So I call her up and she's like, oh my gosh, Amanda, it's so amazing you reached out to me. You know, I just haven't heard from people since I moved and it's just awesome. Thanks for just calling me out of the blue for no reason. You know, and I was like, yeah, cool. Great to talk with you. And I mean, we had a great conversation. I swear our entire friendship was built on that call, that accidental call of me just having the intention to reach out. I joined her program. I was on her board of directors. She invited me to a speakers event, gave me a free ticket later. Like, just, I mean, a lot of big things. And that one phone call changed the trajectory of our friendship. Accidental call. Okay, hopefully you've seen the foreshadowing and you know that it is time to make a list. Let's take just 2 minutes and 22 seconds to make a list of people that are supporting us. These would count as encouragers, cheerleaders, people who would enjoy hearing from us. We'll set the timer for 2:22 and make your list. Oh, I wanted to do a little screen share here. You can, if you would rather, do a web. This is a good example of like a web of support. You may find little pockets of groups you're in, and they have these are 2 or 3 supportive people in that group. These are 2 or 3 in this group, your family, friends, different stuff like that. Just write 2 minutes. Who are people in my web? Clients who have become friends. People you might call if you got a flat in their neighborhood. People who have something in common with you. A stage of life, a group, number of kids or age of kids. Just one more minute. If you can think of at least a few people you haven't talked to in a while, but you know they're still out there rooting for you. Okay, just bringing that to a close. Okay. So as you can see, this was only 2 minutes, so almost maybe a little more. But if you even just did this for 5 minutes, you'd get even more people.
Wow.
So here's another level of the game. I want you to pick a number between 1 and 11. Pick a number, write it down, don't think about it. First number that comes to mind. Okay, you've just picked the number that is your challenge to see if you can reach out to at least that number of people in the week. Right? This can be a text, Facebook message, hey, how you doing? Email, whatever. I wrote down 7, even though I knew. So yeah, that's your extra credit challenge, is to see if you can reach out to that many people. It doesn't mean it has to be from this list, but hey, now you've got a list that it can be from. You don't want to leave out the one person that really changes your trajectory, right? What if you just made this list and every single one of them has a little something something for you? Could reach out to all of them. I might have to give you a gold star for that. Okay, awesome. I do want to do oh gosh, no, how did we get so late? I'm so sorry. I want to do a little breakout room of like what you're seeing in this for yourself, but let's just do it as a group share. Who's seeing something in this for themselves? It's nudging you, tickling you, triggering you, inspiring you. What's here? Eliana.
I'll share very quickly. I started this list and the list started having little babies around.
Yeah.
That I realized it, that I was like, oh my God, it is a lot of people. And I know that as I'm talking, I have more coming to my mind of other groups that I belong to that I haven't reached for forever. And I'm amazed. I'm
Yeah.
amazed.
Good. Thank you. That's this abundant feeling. I can feel it. Eliana, like suddenly you're a web. You're a whole web of people. You're not a one-y anymore.
I know. I forgot of all my dentist life, right? I have dental colleagues. I have clients that I'm still connected to. And I was like, oh, okay. Amazing.
Amazing. Amazing. Yes. Yeah. And it will be so amazing to just reach out to one of those people and feel that section of the web come alive again. Like a spider like sits on its web and it doesn't see everything going on the web, right? It feels it. It feels the web jiggle when something is there, right? And just to feel those vibrations of that whole web potentially coming to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. What else is going on out there? Teresa.
I was kind of struggling there for a bit, and it made me wonder, am I sort of in the Lone Ranger mentality? Like, oh, I am kind of like on my own, and I'm not recognizing consciously the support that is out there. So I think this is a good exercise for me to just really stretch, to look and see, where am I getting that support? You know what I mean? So
yes,
that was just an awareness I had.
Teresa, I am so excited for you, because can I just reflect that every week of the game, just about every week, you in particular have shared, met somebody. This person wants to work with me. This person's excited I'm down here. You actually are sort of an example of a people abundant person, particularly since the game started, because that's when you moved. And for somebody who's just recently moved, I feel a strong web building for you. And so
I do too. Yeah.
Like, for me, if you were my one-on-one client, I'd be like, game this week is put it up on your wall, like put names up on your wall, so that it gets in your head, your web down where you are.
Yeah.
Um,
I've actually thought about like trying to like make little pictures of all the people that I know and just make this huge collage of just everybody that I know that has touched my life and I've touched theirs. And
totally.
I always thought that would be so cool.
You haven't started with your pictures.
Because I could look at each picture and know and remember, oh yeah, this is that person that so-and-so or whatever.
Totally,
But
totally.
yeah,
totally.
this was really fun. Thank you.
Yay. I'm so glad. Any last burning shares?
I have a hard time letting go. So I have like so you don't get put into my contacts list until I'm sure that I'm going to be calling you a lot forever, because I have so many contacts, and then like maybe I should just go through my contacts list and start cleaning it out and be like contacting people and being like, these are the phone numbers I have for you. Are these still your phone numbers?
I mean, people do that all the time, right?
15 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what a great, like, super I don't know, like, not weird way to reach out. Hey, just saw this in my contact list. Is this still your number? Great. Who knows what could happen from there? I mean, if it's really a long ago contact, right? Or just thinking of you, or just remembering how fun that thing we did was. Just saw a picture of it. Or there's lots of very benign ways to reach out if that's what you're looking for. Or be totally weird and see if they connect with the weirdness that you are right now. So good. Okay, amazing, amazing job. So level 1 of this game is just to ask who first as you go throughout your week and you're making decisions and things like that. Level 2 is to start to feel yourself as this web, including making your list and feeling, oh my God, I have so many people on my team. And level 3 is to reach out to several of them. Go for it. Connect. See what happens. Okay. Have fun. Asking who. Talk to you soon. Bye.